Welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. Today we're taking a look at the brand new second edition of Victory! World War II from Columbia Games, and being a Columbia Games designed by Tom Dalglish, who's designed pretty much every single game they put out. It's his company, he designs them all. As you would expect, this is a block war game. It's an interesting game in that it is Victory World War II. You're using World War II era units, but it is not a historical setting. So it's kind of a generic or ahistorical kind of a location, the geography. These aren't real places, but they give it's a war game that is a war game rather than a historical simulation, so to speak. It is a historical simulation in the sense that your units will perform and act the same way as World War II units did, but you're not like playing through Europe or playing through the Pacific. You'll get those feelings, but it's not in those settings. I don't know why they chose to do that, but I believe it's because they can just make more and more, and you can play this as much as you want, configuring the maps any way you want without having to get bogged down in scenarios and all this kind of stuff. So it's a Columbia Games pizza style box. So you take off that sleeve, open up, and instead of being a cheese pizza, we have ourselves, as you would expect, a huge number of blocks. And these are red and blue. And in here there's a couple of six-sided dice. 1, 2, 3 I can see in here. 4. Looks like there's 4 D6s. And there's going to be stickers in here, and we're going to have to stick these. Which I know people don't like. I don't know, I enjoy it. It's relaxing. What we do is we got the maps here, stickers here, and the rules. Alright. Ooh, okay. Whole bunch of stuff in here. Lots of advertising at the bottom. Okay. Take a quick look at the maps, because the maps are on top here first. So, if you've ever played any of their other games like Wizard Kings, it's like this. So, this is a map, it's got a desert and a river on it with some mountains and some edging, right? These are geomorphic. So, let's see, I pull out this other map. We have a couple of kind of canals with a lake in the middle and some islands. Well, you can just stick these together. Oh look, they fit perfectly, imagine that. Or you can do it this way. Oh look, they fit perfectly that way. Or you can do it this way, imagine that. And again, these all are geomorphic, they all can be set basically however. And then we have here this one. So you have an island in the middle, a couple of outlying islands. If you played on just this is a cool map. If you start linking them together, even bigger, cooler maps. I do like you have the Sylvan Wood, so you do have a little bit of almost like a little bit of fantasy every so often. Reminds me of Han World, which is also a setting that they do as well. But you have, you know, Massif de la Foi, so you have some Frenchy sounding names on this one. But it's not France, it's not historical, right? But these are, again, Newpool, all English sounding, Clayton. You can stick them together. Boom. You can stick them together. Boom. Now you've got those other four maps. I mean, you can set this up any way you want, and it's going to give you a different tactical challenge. Although strategically, you're trying to capture places, things like that. So we do have a sheet of normal counters. Not something you always see. And these are, I'm not entirely sure. I think these are, I want to say these are little production centers. This is where you can place and build units, I think. I don't want to. Oh, yes. Okay, these are okay, good. These are little factories. It's advanced rules, but I would recommend this. This is called the logistics set. This used to be sold separately, but it comes with it, and I think that's a good thing. So, and you have some, I think these are kind of harbors. What do you call those? Like mulberry type harbors, I think. Airfields, and then these are again factories for tanks, planes, and ships. And you'll notice these are generic in color because as you capture them back and forth, those will come under your control. They're double-sided. So these we're going to just see. Yeah, you kind of punch them. And these are punched fairly easily. These are kind of a white card. Reminds me of Legion War games with the thickness of their card as a point of reference if you've played any of their games. And I'll be clipping these because I can't help myself. So those are nice. That's something that didn't get in the first edition, it was sold separately. These are the stickers, which we'll look at in a second. Let's see. Okay, this is the expansions that are available, okay? There's a bunch of different... Okay. So there's a bunch of other armies. This is red and blue. There's a bunch of other armies. There's a bunch of actual historical armies. And we'll get there in a second, because I actually have these, and we're going to take a look at them. There's upgraded logistical markers, so that it counts as looks like you can get them on blocks, which, yeah, is what it is. And then there's a huge map pack with 12 maps in it, so that's single-sided. This just tells you, there's more out there if you want it. And it's regular advertising for other games. Wizard Kings, it uses a similar style of maps to this, and they're just fantasy units. It's really fun. You have like a huge wizard. Anyway, different game. Really, really cool though. Rulebook, 12 pages. Although this back is like a play aid basically. If you want to photocopy this for actual play aids, you could do that. These are the historical armies right here. Tells you what you get on each one. So there's Russians, Americans, and Germans. No, because these are just, really it's red versus blue. It doesn't actually have flavor, so to speak, in the most accurate sense. Advanced rules, how to build scenarios, custom forces, supply, combat. And just like all their other games, you really have 2 columns of rules, and then these are like detailed examples or explanations of the rules, where and when you need them for key rules, things like that. I expect this to be incredibly digestible. I've never had a problem with Columbia's rules, really. They're not overwritten, they're not underwritten. They just read the rules, do what it says, set up your blocks and play. It's usually pretty quick to get to. So, the last thing in this base game, let's move these out of the way, are the stickers. And there are 2 sheets of stickers. And we'll just take a little look here at all the different units you have. Okay. So looks like you got some B-1 rockets, cavalry units, looks like some medium tanks, heavy tanks, trucks. Are these engineers? I know I think the engineers were part of that logistics expansion. They included them, I think. I think those are new in this edition. Paras, regular infantry, marines, mountain units, artillery, recon. Not sure about those ones. Then there's subs, cruisers. These are cruisers. And then there's some aircraft carriers, battleships. We have aircraft. Looks an awful lot like a Japanese Zero. This looks like a Mustang though, so who knows. But different types of air units. So we've got some bomber units and some jet units and an A-bomb. So that could be exciting there. And let's see, these are identical. Okay. So you're both going to have exactly the same stickers. So you have land units, air units, naval units basically. But they'll be on different sets of blocks. So, with that in mind, these expansion armies are going to give you exactly the same sticker sheets, just with different colored blocks, okay? Now, with that being said, let's take a look, because we have the expansions here. So this is the orange block set. So we have red and blue right there. This is the generic orange block set. So I am expecting exactly the same sticker set with a bunch of orange blocks. And we'll just compare here. Yep, exactly the same set of stickers. So that's nice and convenient. We might be able to keep one expansion army in this box, maybe. It's a little bit tight after that. But they come in this little old VHS box. It's the perfect number of blocks in there. So if you don't want to keep it all in the box and kind of cram it in, these are a good little fit. I'm just going to make sure that the blocks kind of go in there reasonably well. Yeah, of course I messed that up for the camera. Well, I swear they go back in. There you go. I got a bit sticking out the top, but they just fit in there nicely. Pop that away on a shelf. Now, the cool stuff for me are the historical armies. So we're going to crack open these, and as you can imagine, green. And these give you a historical army. So you have Shermans, you have a Stuart, 105mm howitzers, USS Ranger, USS Cleveland, Baltimore. I guess these are classes rather than anything. Iowa class battleship, South Dakota up there, a couple of subs, and here you do have P-47 is that Thunderbolt, P-51 Mustang, Dauntless, Avengers, M26, B-26 Marauders. Then you have B-24 Liberators, B-17 Flying Fortresses as well. And then infantry units, marine units, engineers, and these are just, I don't know what these ones are, not sure. But these are like historical. Now if we compare, let's see, are they any different? 1, 4, 3, 2. So the infantry are exactly the same. The Marines are exactly the same. Oh no, the Marines are different. Okay, here we go. So these are the generic ones. The Marines are 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, as you'd expect. But down here you have the 1, 1, 2. These are 2, 1, 3. So these Marines are much better than the generic ones. Let's see, with tanks wise. Tanks look to be fairly similar. The howitzers, 1, 2, 3. These are a 2, 1, 3. So different there. The ships are different. And the air units are different again as well. So you do actually get a decent amount of variation from the generic ones. It's not just exactly the same. So that is good. I scared myself there, but that looks to be the case. Now, I do also really like the cover of this. I think that's just a cool colours. I think it's quite striking visually. So this VHS, we have the Russians. Alright, Russians. If these aren't red, I'll be disappointed. Hey! So we're going to make sure not to use these with the generic red ones, I guess. That'll get confusing very quickly. And here we have, again, NATO symbols, but you have, let's see, T-34s up here, IS-2s, KV-1s, BT-7s, and you have over here Sturmakovs and a bunch of different Yaks. Cavalry units, that's neat that they have a cavalry picture on them. Much smaller navy, as you might imagine. But I believe that's a whole extra row of land units, so there we get into a really different army composition, so that's also very interesting there. And lastly, excuse me, we have the Germans. These should be a black block set. Oh, yes we do, they are black blocks. And let's see, also, alright, so again, this is a smaller navy than the US has, but more land units. They got these 88s over here. Looks like these are black background. These are probably SS units. They only have one para. They don't have any Marines. It doesn't look like. They got more U-boats, Graf Zeppelin, and then you've got a bunch of Heinkels, Focke-Wulfs, 109s, Stukas, and then Condors over here as well. So it is different flavors. You know, Panzer. Okay, it's a Panzer IV. These are mid-war Panzer IVs. You got a Panther over here. SDKFZ. Jeez. Oh, I'm not going to... I forget. It's a Puma. I can't remember the designation. But you get a few more land units. You don't have Marines. You got a smaller Navy. Looks like you got decent-sized Air Force, though. And you got these really strong SS units down here as well. So, again, a nice different set of blocks. I think I probably will find myself playing the historical blocks more than not, just because I think I like the flavor. But having these generic ones means you can play with up to 8 players if you have all the expansions. So you can make it it's just a free-for-all kind of a war game, which I think is cool. And the geomorphic maps give you a whole lot of expandability and replayability. And with that said, we're going to take it the last expansion that I have, which is the Dirty Dozen map pack. Boom. Contains all 12 expansion maps in the Victory series. So they've had these all separately in different bits and pieces, I guess. But this is that, down here, the Dirty Dozen map pack. It's literally 12 maps. Okay. So we had 4 in there, and with all the different geomorphic alignments, you were never going to run out of options. Well, now we have a million more, basically. So we have Löwenmeer, Großenmorast, Kitzenmusen. So you're looking at German-inspired names, but again, it's generic terrain that gives you interesting tactical choices, right? This one, you got straight... It looks somewhat like Greece and Turkey, you might say. And so you do get that, right? Oh look, it's Troy and the Hella Straits. Oh, these are falling off me, Matt. Alright. This one's 8A. The Misty Sea. But it's just a ton of extra maps and things to play with. We get the Island Wars, the Pearl Sea, right? Hainalu. This definitely isn't... Oh, it's Kala Atoll. So this is getting into more of those naval battles if you want to kind of go through the Pacific. The Middle Sea with a canal, right? This definitely isn't Alexandria, right? But there's so much. This is an expansion which if you want to play this game, you got so much extra game in this to play upon. You'll literally never have the same game twice. Just from a geographic standpoint. I mean, there's so much to play around with. Which, that's something that I appreciate in a game like this. I expect there's not all that many blocks. You'll be building them, trying to capture areas, but this one's a little bit different color. Looks like this is like a north, kind of a frozen type area, maybe. That's map number 15, and this is the last one. There we go. There's like a big dense forest and mountains and rivers, things like that. But again, it's just a few very large hexes. You stick a couple of them together and you plan up and down a map, trying to capture enemy cities and end the game with X amount of victory points by capturing enemy cities. That's how the game's won. It's not overly complex in what it's trying to do and all the game system. It's a game where you can sit and play and play and play, and it's just a simple block war game that is infinitely replayable, and I'm really grateful they have these historical armies now. I saw people in the first edition would complain it was too generic. This is exciting for me. I don't care it's not historical maps, but having at least historical armies, I think is going to make it a bit more, a bit more tangible, so to speak, and less abstract with having generic armies and generic maps. This grounds this in the World War II for me, which I think this will be fun, even though it's not super historical maps. Or real maps. The maps are egal. It's not that super important because it's a block war game, moving around, never playing at the same twice. So I'm excited for this game, if you can't tell, because I enjoy Columbia's block games, and this gives me a ton to play with. And yeah, there's a ton of expansions out there, and playing with 3 or 4 people might make this a totally different style game. So that's exciting for me. Okay, so appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been a look at the 2nd edition, the brand new edition of Victory World War II, with a whole bunch of the expansions. So it's available on Columbia's website. Go and check it out for something you're interested in, or you wanted to get the more up-to-date edition. I don't know the changes from the 1st edition, other than they included those logistics counters. They included, there may have been more maps included, but they included those extra engineering units, things that were separate before they've included in the game. So, like I said, appreciate you guys tuning in, and I've been Alexander from theplayersaid.com.